So I'm bringing you live from the Social Fresh Conference, my buddy Owen Hemsath. Owen is a cancer-crushing machine and the smartest guy on video that I know. What's up, Owen?
What's up, my man? And just to correct you, I am actually the smartest guy in video at all. So...
Thank you. Yes, that's important. I would agree with that. So, dude, your videos are rocking. I love your energy. How the hell did you get started doing videos, though, man?
You know, I love it when people ask me that question because I think the story is really fun, you know. And I'll tell you the quick version. When I was 8 years old, Christmas morning, we opened up a Nintendo, and then we opened up a video camera. So I pushed the Nintendo aside and immediately hijacked my dad's camera, started making stop motion Lego films with my sister's Barbies and my Legos. And we're making these like soap opera types. My mom was a big soap opera watcher. So we started making soap operas with stop motion cameras. So I've always had a camera in my hand. You look at, I was in the AV ministry or the AV group in high school. I've done AV ministries in churches. But it wasn't until I lost the last job I ever had, where I was let go for good reasons. You know, I just don't fit in a cubicle in an office environment. It's not a good place for me. And despite being number one in sales, you know, my manager and I had a disagreement that escalated, and it was just a good idea that I not work there anymore. And that's when I decided that my passion, my love, has always been video. So I decided to leave sort of the corporate world of sales and media, which is where I was, and go back to school to study film. As I started to study film, I realized that I loved film. I didn't like being broke. and there's this whole sort of culture in filmmaking of la boheme, of being a bohemian and not making a lot of money. I was getting married. I had my first child coming. And so that wasn't going to be the path I wanted to take. So I took my camera, started knocking on doors and offering online marketing videos for YouTube for 20 bucks a piece. And I tell you, I sold it night and day. After one day, I was doing this in La Jolla, near San Diego. I did 17 videos in a day, which for me was like a recognition that I had a business and not just like a freelance gig. So I started Video Spot, and we haven't looked back ever since.
Awesome. I love that, man. I love that it's not just art for art's sake, which is real pretty and sexy, but not real. You got to eat.
Yeah. You got to eat, and you got to be of value to the people that you're producing for. You know, like you said, there's a lot of movie makers that make movies for themselves, and if other people like it, great. For me, I have always been the type of guy, I've always been making videos, so I've satisfied that artistic edge. What I seek to do now, that I've got some mad YouTube skills, is to help other business owners to create the same kind of revenue that I've been able to create using video. And I'm very passionate about that, not in the sense where I want to save the whole world with video, not at all. But if you're going to engage with me and if you're serious about video marketing, then my heart will go 100% into your camp and get you there. And that's why I think my clients have had you know, a lot of success, is because I'm committed to them as much as they are committed to me.
Yeah, well, and your passion shines through. The fact that you actually want to help, that you want to make a difference in their business is clear, right? I mean, even this morning, right? It's 10:30 in the morning, and you are jazzed here talking about video instead of swimming in the pool. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I love. In fact, I was thinking if I could do this in the pool. But
yeah, your MacBook Pro is not waterproof, so I'm gonna advise you against that.
That's good advice. You know, it's like I'm just waiting for like the underwater Facebook Live feature to come back. So we'll see. I need to get a GoPro or something.
Yeah, GoPro on a shark with some laser beams.
I love it.
Fonzie skiing behind it will be the key.
Sharks and laser beams, you know?
Yeah. that will be the sure sign, though, that video is dead. If we see Fonzie motorcycling or, you know, water skiing. That was the original Jump the Shark, you know. That's where that comes from.
As in Henry Winkler?
Yes, as in, so on Happy Days, Fonzie jumped the shark.
I remember that episode.
That was
oh,
when,
my goodness.
yep, that was the pinnacle of Happy Days of sorts. And when he jumped the shark, it started going downhill, never to return.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was like the turning point for I remember that's when I like stopped watching on my, Saturday morning, summertime as a kid, you wake up, you watch like Andy Griffith, Lucy, One Day at a Time, and then Happy Days.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. And then they started spinning stuff up. We got Joni Loves Chachi. It was just too much.
Did you know, by the way, that, remember the show The Facts of Life?
Yep.
Mrs. Garrett was the housemaid on that show until Cloris Leachman took over, but they spun off Mrs. Garrett into Different Strokes. Different Strokes. So there's your weird TV fact for all you media heads like me. I love TV. I love the culture of video. And so I know weird things like that. I apologize.
No, don't apologize. And Robin Williams got his start on Happy Days as Mork for Mork.
I didn't know that. Fantastic. And that spun off into Mork and Mindy.
That's right. Yes.
This conversation just officially became worth it.
Woohoo! Yeah.
We win.
Yeah, baby. So now let's take a little more serious tone here.
Yeah.
The cancer thing here. Let's talk about that, Owen. You kept your business kicking ass through the cancer. How did you do that? And honestly, how did it feel to have cancer and know that, fuck, this could be something real?
I went into shock. I was definitely in shock, and the emergency room has procedural things in place. So, and they're not positive. I don't disagree with the policy per se, but it kept me in shock. So what happened is, they saw the tumor. I didn't know. I went into the hospital for chest pain, and they saw a 12-centimeter tumor in my chest. And what they told me was that it's an infection. It's probably antibiotics, but you could see in their face that it was more. And I think that it's like not the X-ray tech's job to tell me that I have cancer. So what happened is they told me that it was an infection, no big problem, but we need to keep you overnight. And that's when I demanded a doctor come in and tell me the deal. Otherwise, I was leaving. I'm like, if this is an infection, give me the antibiotics and we'll go. And then the doctor came in and she did some quick, how do you feel? And she said, you have a tumor in your chest. And immediately, just like, woo. I don't even remember. I just remember being carted in a wheelchair. Not that I needed a wheelchair, but you know how the hospitals work. Taken in a wheelchair upstairs, and I was in complete shock. I couldn't talk. I couldn't process it. All I could think of was, and that's my story. That's the words, and that's the story of Owen. Owen tried. He worked hard his whole life. He got cancer, and he died. And it made me incredibly sad to process that. So as I sat in that hospital bed, it's 10 o'clock at night, it's midnight, and there's no doctors there. There's no comfort there. My wife found a babysitter so she could stay the night with me. And I woke up with a renewed spirit. I am a born again believer in Jesus Christ. So I have been for a long time. And so I prayed, like, Lord, give me the strength. I don't know. How do I do this? And I woke up the next morning and decided that I would get through this by dragging you through it with me. And I started a video blog called Life Wins. We're still blogging, not as frequently, but we're still video blogging and sharing the post-chemo experience. But I was very open and very honest and said, I've just been I announced it to my family and to the world through video. And because of that video, I was able, my network, people like you, my friends, my family, donated money on our GoFundMe page and paid for something like 80% of our cancer bills. So cancer was very scary. It put me in shock, but through prayer and meditation, I decided the right thing to do was to continue being Owen and to not let cancer change who I was. And Owen is optimistic, Owen is encouraging, and Owen does video.
Wow. I remember that, man. That was that was tough. And that's only been a year.
It's only been a year. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I just got my hair back. The eyebrows and eyelashes come back first. And I got to tell you, it's pretty crazy to not have eyelashes because, you know, even sitting in your house, you're like, you know, because just all this dust gets in your eyes, you know, you don't think about it. But even when your eyes are closed, the lashes don't seal it. So, you know, it's an interesting thing. I'm happy to be back. I'm recuperated. And I do think that there is some newness about my energy towards life because I've been healthy my whole life. I don't smoke. I drink on the weekends. You know, I drink socially. So to get cancer was kind of like, huh? Like, how in the heck did that happen? But you can't let those things deter you from your course. You got to stay focused on the path.
Wow. Wow. So what about the family, man? How did the family respond to basically you live video blogging, this whole experience? How did that go over?
Yeah, it was the right thing to do. I certainly did the video blog and then called my family because, you know, it takes a while for people to actually watch it and respond to it. So I didn't want them thinking like they you know, that they weren't a part of that. But I also knew I have to be true to myself at the same time, you know. And that's a big thing I've learned through social media, thought leaders like yourself, is to be authentic and to be authentic, not in a marketing way, but in a don't let your life circumstances change who you are as a person per se. So my family was ultra supportive. It brought us together as a family because, believe it or not, my 8-year-old nephew, Spencer, my sister's child, went through 2 years of chemo 3 years ago. Wow. And he made it out okay. My uncle made it through cancer. And so I learned like, oh crap, I got cancer in my family, but my family beats cancer too. So there was this unifying factor, which is nice because I have a different set of religious values in my family. So it tends to conflict sometimes and there's like a Cold War. But when this happened, it was all laid aside and we came together as a unit to conquer this thing together. And that is something that I just wouldn't trade for the world.
Wow. Yeah. So you teamed up to beat it as opposed to teaming up to kind of be like, oh crap, this runs in my family and I'm going to die.
Yeah, and you know what? That's your first impulse. Your first impulse is this, okay? This is the reality, and I spoke about this at not this event, but the last event I was at, is your battle moments, right? The moments where you can choose to continue living your life as you always have, or where you can say, I'm going to move the needle here. I'm going to work an extra 5 hours. I'm going to do this or do that. And that's what cancer was for me, is the first thought I had was, yes. Can you believe that? The first thought I had was, awesome. I can stop the entrepreneurial game. I can quit my business. I can live off the system and nobody would blame me for it. Nobody would say, Owen, you failed. No one would say, Owen, you're you're a poser. Everyone would say, well, it was too bad. You tried, and it's too bad what happened to you. And I started living through that scenario in my life and what that would mean to my kids, what it would mean to my clients, and how that course of action could derail my whole objective for life. And I realized very quickly that was not who I was as a person, and that the reason, metaphysically speaking, that I got this was to power through it and to inspire others to power through their challenge. And that's exactly what I've done, Phil. People have called me and they've said, Owen, I'm going through a thing, but it's not cancer, but here's my problem. And I go, dude, look, cancer was my cancer. Your cancer might be a poor work ethic. It might be a divorce. It might be, an addiction to alcohol, an addiction to cigarettes, or some of these other things that you're trying to conquer. So I tell them, please don't compare your trial to mine. If your trial's a 10 and mine's a 10, then we're in this together. So through that cancer, people started coming to me with their problems, I think, to feel better. I think, well, Owen's got cancer and I don't have cancer. So at least I don't have that. But what I sought to do in those conversations was to say, look, man, you are not your circumstances, and happens, and you got to power through it. And that's exactly what we did. And we've seen our clients do it too. So it unlocked, I think, in me, like a coaching ability that maybe wasn't as developed before.
Interesting. Well, I think, a couple things you said there are important. The power of choice.
Yeah.
When you made a choice, you could be a turd or you could make the most of it. Really,
yeah,
that was
right.
really kind of your choice. And neither one is wrong, but you had the choice and you chose to power through, and you chose to realize that comparison is nobody's win.
Yeah.
Like, comparison doesn't help anybody, right? Your cancer was cancer, but other people have cancer too. Other people have problems too. And neither one is better or worse. They just are. So we got to get through that together.
Yeah. And, and we learned, you're absolutely right. The power of choice is so key, because I think a lot of times media, TV and the news thrust upon us a victim mindset. Oh, some rich fat cat did this, so now you're poor, or some government did this, so now, you have to do this. There might be some validity there, but we are in control of the steps that we take today. And if there's one thing I would impress about people, or impress about this to our audience here, is that choose wisely. Like Indiana Jones, right? The when he goes and he picks the goblet, and he says, choose wisely. If taking a step back from your business is the best choice, choose that wisely. If pushing forward through your trial is the best choice, and I believe that it probably is for just about everybody, is to power through, but I understand not everybody's in that circumstance, then choose wisely the next few steps you'll make. A good friend of mine, a year before or 2 years before I got sick, was injured in a dirt biking accident, and he's paralyzed now from the nipples down. He was a chiropractor before. So a lot of hands, a lot of, this, and the irony of a back doctor breaking his back. I watched him go through hell for the first year. I watched him close his business. I watched him, waste away. The hospital gave him the wrong bed. He got bed sores. He asked the hospital for compensation. They said, if you ever come into our office again, we will sue you for defamation. I mean, they were evil to him. They were evil to him because they don't want to get sued. I watched him power through all that to create a chiropractor marketing firm that has exceeded the revenue of his last practice in just 2 years. And when I see something like that, I go, man, I hope that I can choose as wisely as he did. So yeah, I had cancer, and that might suck to somebody who's never had cancer, but for someone who had cancer and watching someone lose their ability to walk and hold their wife and hold their children, what I had was just a thing, man.
Just a thing. And just the attitude, right? It's just a choice. So I love that about you, Owen. Your energy is phenomenal. We could talk about video all day, but give us one tip that you share to really kind of get started along this video path. If you got just one little thing that we can use to get started, to use the power of choice to be more powerful on video.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I love that question. It is that video, success with video for the business world. I'm not talking about I want to be a celebrity. I'm not talking about I want my band to do well. I'm talking about you have a business, you have a tutorial, you have a product, you have a service, and you want to use video. So that's key. You want to use video. It is not about going viral. It's not about going viral. Virality is defined as outside of your network. So, you're between all your networks. Let's say you're connected to 10,000 people, your email list, your Facebook, your YouTube, your Twitter, whatever. Let's say it's 10,000. So if you get 20,000 views, you went viral, right? Because it went beyond the control of your own network. That is not a marketing plan. It might be for Kraft macaroni and cheese or Ford, right? Who don't really care. Like Ford doesn't make a video hoping that you'll click it and buy a car. Ford makes a video to make you laugh, to engage you, to just stay top of mind. As a local, small, or medium-sized business owner, your objective is to drive new sales and new revenue. So virality does not accomplish that goal. Instead, what accomplishes that goal is a large breadth of videos, a library of videos that are all made for your audience, not your own edification. You don't make who am I videos. You don't make what I'm good at videos. You make at how my product can help you videos. By making a large amount of videos, you're able to attract massive amounts of search volume to your videos. And even if you rank number one, let's say that you rank number one for how to host a live Zoom call. Even if you rank number one, only a percentage of the people that land on that page are going to click on your video. So you've got to be on that first page for a large number of search terms. You know, how to use Zoom for video conference, how Zoom works for video conferencing, how you can speak to 1 or 2 people on Zoom at a time, how you can use Zoom for a 5-person conference call, right? They're all different videos featuring a different aspect of the product, but all aimed at the end user and what they might be typing into a search engine, right? So focus on this. Here's what I would say for anybody watching this right now. Go make a list of 50 video titles that are structured the way one of your customers might type into a search engine. So if you sell left-handed widgets, you might want to put in something like how to buy a left-handed widget. Who are the best left-handed widget companies? Top 5 left-handed widget brands. And use, you say 50 video titles. How do I do that? Well, one of my clients, Paul Howe's, got it done in about 15 minutes. And he did it with this simple strategy. The 5 W's. Who, what, why, where, when, and of course, how. Use those words to start off with. When to use a left-handed widget. When you should buy a left-handed widget. And so on and so forth. The titles will naturally pour out of you. And then you pick a video and you shoot it.
Pick a video and shoot it. The 5 W's plus the how. That's simple stuff and yet often hard to execute. So we'll have to talk more about that, Owen. That's really good stuff, man. I really appreciate that. Where do people, as we wrap up here, where do people get more of your awesome? How can they connect with you and learn more about your stuff?
I'd go to thevideospot.net. I would also go to YouTube and search my name, Owen Video. And those are the best 2 sources. I put all my videos on my blog, and they all live on YouTube. So the best way to find out how I do what I do and how you can have success with video marketing is to check out the content there. But I'm social. If you're digging the energy that Phil and I are dropping and just want to hang out with us, follow me on Facebook. Just search for me, follow me. And I'll engage with you. I love talking. I love sharing with people. And who knows? We might even get along. I might have you on a Facebook Live or do a Periscope with you. Who knows? We'll find out. But I'd love to know who you are.
Awesome. Thevideospot.net, or just search for Owen Video on YouTube or on Facebook.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Yeah. Owen's famous. So cool, man. Well, thanks for spending some time with me this morning. It was really good.
Thanks for having me, Phil. It's always great talking to you.
You too.